Been doing.
Sometimes.
Been in court more times, so
Probably been over a year since last time. How you saying that?
actually, this mayor was retired, but he worked, he covers it.
He's on the second floor.
He used to be down the
Probably
basement.
I was thinking there.
depending
That's a big bill.
interest.
I don't know what they paid about it for. You go to the little space station, I call it.
And then I see him, everybody's gonna go on to school.
Raise up.
Yeah, it's
It's different. They definitely on top of the line on everything.
Where it's at.
Somebody right in there.
Improve the roads.
Okay, you wanna go live, buddy? You okay?
Man, I said, this is a county, big county school. Yeah. Go to the brand new school. I said,
You wanting to speak, ma'am?
what if we have people students? The natural response most of the time, you do something there that
Dreama. Her name is Dreama.
I think
Dreama, Dreama Stowe. Is that it? Dreama. Okay. I'm gonna call the Loudon County Commission Workshop to order for March 18th, 2024. Jim Jenkins, you're up.
Thank you, Commission. This first item is a resolution amending the zoning map of Loudon County, Tennessee pursuant to Chapter 713-7-105 of Tennessee Code annotated to rezone from N1 General Industrial District, Table 1 Agricultural Forestry District, Loudon County Tax Map 32, Parcel 111, located at Backlot Beyond Road East, Loudon County, Tennessee, situated in the first legislative district. It's a small parcel of ground that this potential buyer is looking to rezone from M1 to A1. They want to build a house on it and maybe an accessory shop that's allowable in the A1. We have rezoned a portion of this property and across the road already from M1 to A1.
What district's that in?
It's the first,
What was the planning commission's recommendation?
to rezone. Yes.
How many acres?
What? About 8.
What's Chase think about it?
Yeah,
I've not received any phone calls in complaining about it.
And you have city on each side of this. You have across the road where the storage buildings are, that's in the city, and then the new campground, which is all in the city.
Yeah.
The surrounding county properties are A1.
Be a whole lot worse could come in there than one home and a shop.
Absolutely.
So,
Any other comments for Jim? Put it on the April 1st commission meeting.
Yes, sir.
There.
Item B is a resolution amending the zoning map of Loudon County, Tennessee pursuant to Chapter 713-7-105 Tennessee Code annotated to rezone from A2 Rural Residential District to R1 Suburban Residential District. Loudon County Tax Map 49, Parcel 169, located at 386 Cook Drive, Loudon County, Tennessee, situated in the First Legislative District. This property is a little unique. I think it's over 2 acres. It's intersected by Cook Drive, so there's a portion of the property on the opposite side of Cook Drive that's probably about 3/4 of an acre. This family's wanting to segment that from the parcel in order to allow them to build a home on it. There are some surrounding properties in that area that's the same and a little bit smaller than are R1.
I see no issue.
Planning Commission made a recommendation.
Okay.
Any further comments? April 1st.
Please. Item C is a discussion of the Article 5 amendment of the zoning resolution. This is the portion of our zoning resolution that dictates minimum lot sizes, it dictates setbacks for buildings, it dictates the allowable uses in each one of those zoning districts. This is probably, I've only been here 18 years, but I would imagine it's not seen this type of update probably since its inception in 1971. This went before our planning commission last Tuesday. There were some questions that come forward out of that. The planning commission is supposed to be working on getting any of their concerns to me or any of their suggestions to me so that we can work on those and take them back. I'll highlight some of what that is if you would allow here. So we've got the currently A1 and A2. In the A1 zoning district, your minimum lot size is 1 acre. This new regulation would take it to 5. It would change the setbacks. I believe it was 50 front, 50 rear, and 30 on the side. Currently, it is 50 front, 35 rear, 20 on the side for a 1, plus 5 feet for each additional story. The A2 is currently a minimum 1 acre lot size. It will take it to a 2.5 acre lot size. I believe the front setback is 40, the rear is 30, and the side is 30. I would have to look at this, but it's basically affecting some setbacks there. Some of the other things it does in those zones is where we continue through our Board of Zoning Appeals to have appeals for people location of accessory buildings. We're working on fixing location of accessory buildings so that we cease having all these that continue to come to BZA. If you have to continue to make variances to the regulation and allow those variances, the best thing to do is change the regulation to allow what you want to allow in that to occur. The new A3. The new A3 would basically be a 1 acre lot size, 30-foot front setback, A3. The rear, I would have to look up.
30,
30, thank you. And then the side, I believe, is 20, correct?
correct.
So it goes back to real similar to, actually a little less stringent on the setbacks than what was allowed in the A2. So that would be a new zoning district. You have your R1, no significant change, it just takes it from a 20,000 square foot minimum to a true half acre. You have a new R2 zoning district. This district will be where you would start placing duplexes, multifamily developments, whether it's apartments, townhouses, condos, whatever you want to call them, and our cluster option for development. Those type of uses would be required to have not only public water, but public sewer connections, which mirrors kind of what it already requires in our districts. C1, not really any major changes, bear in mind, I think it was to disallow single families in the C1 is the major change in that. Your C1 is basically a rural center district. That's where, you get in rural parts of the county, they still may need some services of a commercial type, whether it's a small convenience store or something of that nature. This allows for those things to be put in those areas. C2, M1, I don't know of any significant change.
No changes on C2.
Nothing of significance. And I'll get to our final zoning and try to explain where the changes come. The F1, we basically taken that verbiage and said refer back to our resolution that we adopt for our floodplain administration. Nothing major in the O1, RE, and then TD, which we call a tower overlay district, would be stated that it is a zoning for the tower. In other words, that leased site area will be zone T1. A lot of this puts us in the commission's hands from taking it out of an overlay to a rezoning action. And then last, what we call the community facilities district. This will be a district that you would create because throughout the county you have different community needs, whether it's for, this will be putting mining, landfills, churches, utilities, schools, recreational facilities, whether it's parks or whatever it is. It puts it in a specific zone that the county commission can look at that area, determine that it's suitable for that area. And, you know, there's certain areas of the county, these things would have to be placed depending on resources and needs. The other thing it did is, as you look through the current zoning, there's a lot of things listed as special exceptions, okay? Most of those special exceptions were removed from, like, the A2, for example, had doctor's offices, things of that nature, stuff that are commercial related. We took most of those uses and placed them in a specific zoning district. So now that's, you know, I think today, when we look at the county, it's not as rural as it used to be, for a lack of better words. We have commercial locations throughout the county, whether it's going out 321, you know, so where we're gonna put our doctor's offices probably not gonna be, needing to be a special exception in A1 zoning. So we basically put a lot of special exceptions in the correct zoning area as you read through this document. So, you know, when you look through, you've got some lot size changes. That's probably your biggest effect in the A1 and A2, I would think. The most of it is cleaning up a lot of our document that we've had over the years, getting some things corrected in it, and for the most part, I think it will improve Article 5. I think, again, the biggest, our planning commission had some concerns with some verbiage and some terms we still use.
Cotton gins.
Cotton gins, you never know, we don't wanna leave them out, but we thought maybe, cultivation of, crops may be a good replacement word. So it's some replacement words, trying to keep things uniform in verbiage. As you look through the old document, we would say 1 and 2 single-family dwellings, then you go through another part and you talk about duplexes. It's the same thing. So we're trying to get uniformity, clean up some of the verbiage, things of that nature. Again, I think your changing your A1 and A2 will probably be the most discussed. Want to get you all this document, let y'all review through it, see what it is. Obviously, you can contact me anytime to discuss what the current zoning is, what this new zoning looks like. Be happy to answer any questions in regards to that. And take any,
Are you happy with this document?
I think the document done a lot of good. I really do. I think the only thing, and I've said before, the A1 and A2 property sizes would be the only thing that would be the challenge. We do have the A3 that you can rezone to correct that, but then you've got to establish, we don't have a land, excuse me, we don't have a land use plan for use.
Getting all choked up over here.
That's
That's a tough question.
Oh, he's gonna get you a drink.
Take a
If
break
you have a
there.
land use plan that you use to establish where you want things to occur.
Sheriff Billy went to get him something.
Yeah, so if you have a land use plan, that kind of helps you see where you want these things to
I
occur.
think Billy was.
So you don't want to go through this document and create these new zonings to increase this land, just to go back and rezone it and change it all. That's honestly, I think
That's
everything
what I
about it
thought it did.
personally does a lot of good for it. I think it, I appreciate that, sir.
Now you can record that as an EMS run.
Billy and I are here to serve.
Well, that's the biggest challenge. I think putting things in a proper zoning district was needed for a long time. Taking things out of special exception was needed a long time. You know, if there's things that you want in those zones, let's just put them in there. And, the community facilities, you all, as this commission, hear a lot of kickback when things get brought up. And it was done as special exception, which was planning commission to grant that special exception. This places them in a zoning district. Now you get the community feedback. You get to hear what's going on. It's gonna come before you all to make those decisions. So,
Would there be a way to notify property owners that this would affect?
Every property owner?
every property owner,
I mean, especially in the A1 and A2.
it would be a very large task. So part of the reason for not taking people and trying to go through and say, well, right now you're A1, but you're only an acre and a half, let's say, and say, well, we're gonna put you in an A3 zone. For us to change their zoning, we have to make notification to all those property owners. By leaving the zonings as they are basically pre-existing, non-conforming possibly. So you don't have, that notification isn't required.
So if someone has 5 acres,
Mhm.
they're wanting to, say, give their kids 2 acres,
Yes, sir.
and they're A1, they'll have to come in and apply for A3. So,
They would have to rezone A3, yes, sir.
Both lots. And that require a vote of commission.
It would, yes, sir.
Sounds like a
All,
lot.
all rezonings would require.
It's a
That's
lot.
a lot of power.
It's a lot. I guess my concern, and I was at the planning commission, they tabled this. And I
They
know
did.
they were gonna come back with some recommendations, and
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to wait on that myself.
We are. This
Yeah.
isn't come to a vote
Okay.
next month.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, we have to
This-
get, we have to wait for them,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna
Okay.
wait, this, at
Okay.
May's will be the earliest we can
Okay,
get it to
I just
us.
wanna
This is
clarify
not
that.
an intent for y'all to vote, but it was something I would rather not wait for that vote and then y'all get it the week before. This is something for you to start looking at. I'll be
Okay.
happy to- You know, we're gonna take all the recommendations, we're gonna look at them, look back through it, and any recommendations you all have as to what you wanna see, most definitely take that in consideration also.
And agricultural has its own section, correct?
Yes, sir. The A1 and A2, you know, where your agricultural uses are, they,
Ask about your grain.
I'm
bin.
thinking about like grain bin extension, so, you know, you have farmers with their grain bins and, you know, all of a sudden, we need to add more grain bins. Am I gonna have to cut off an acre? Or am I just gonna be able to add my grain bin?
in an agricultural, enterprise like that, I think they just add to it anyhow, it's agricultural exempt and it's in an agricultural
Which
zone.
made it a lot easier.
As Jim said, this has been a year in the making. It was with the East Tennessee Development District for 6 months while they put the bones up together. Jim's worked on it, Adam's worked on it, I've worked on it. It's a culmination of planning commission input, citizen input as much as anybody. This all stems back to 2002 when we were having our community meetings. The conversation on the A1, A2, A3, there's nothing complicated there, there's nothing hard about it. What it does is it allows these large tracts of land that may be held by developers or foreign investors or whomever they might be held by. They're gonna have to come here to get their permission to do it. If grandpa wants to give the grandson an acre or 2 or whatever, it's as simple as you ask for a rezone request for it. Ultimately, it comes to here. What we learned in the John Cook lawsuit is, one of the greatest things we learned was that community opposition is an absolute legal reason to deny something. No questions asked. So if some large issue's happening in an area that concerns the residents of that area that they're opposed to this, this gives them the ability to come to their county commissioner and say, we're really opposed to this. We don't want that in our neighborhood. I won't say Dry Valley, but on a different scale, if it were a city matter, a Dry Valley or a Hotchkiss Valley or a Bill's Chap or places like that. When good real world example, and I just saying this back there in the back of Bill a few minutes ago, he had an area over in his district that should have never been allowed to have been built like it was. It was zoned A1. They went in and built 1 acre lots, and they put little homes on these 1 acre lots on a road that wasn't as wide as this desk right here. Had it been zoned A1 5 acre minimums, they couldn't have done that without getting approval from the county commissioner representing the district. So it brings a lot of the decision-making process back here where it should be. So the citizens have someone they can go talk to and say, hey, we love it, we don't like it. But as far as affecting small issues like that, that's not what it does, nor will it have an impact there. But there's a lot of good stuff in there.
I'd like to hear the planning commission, all their concerns, because, you know, they deal with it daily and see what they come up with and.
I think he said he's heard back from one of them.
Heard back from one so far, yes.
Okay.
But I did ask, you know, just everybody send in the comments, send in the concerns, so we can work on that document. And, there was concern that, this is trying to be, you know, we're not trying to do anything to bring this under the table or keep it hidden from public view. There's only so much notice we can make by putting it on the county website. Our public hearing notices we put in the paper, and I will try to, reach out to anyone with social media platform that maybe people in the county, maybe that's the way people, communicate these days, I don't.
I'm going to
But we'll put that anywhere we can to let people know. Come and express your thoughts and concerns, you know, we're not trying to run this through on anyone.
I've heard Commissioner Shaver has a website. Can't
I've heard that.
I'll see what I can do. I've been invited to go speak to the Farm Bureau Board, I believe it's the 14th of April, to tell them about this. They're very, very interested in it. And of course, again, the goal of all of this is preservation of rural area in Loudon County, rural space. That's what's driving every bit of this. We've seen what's happened all the way around us, Blount County, Knox County, inside Lenore City. We've seen what's happened there, and this entire Article 5 is geared at giving us the ability to preserve if it's the right place and right time. So that's probably the biggest driving force behind it. We're doing what we all heard from our last election and elections before that. We're going to do what we can to preserve Loudon County the best we can.
When it comes to some of these lot sizes, for what it's worth, you know, this 5 acres, you know, I've even said, maybe not that, but I know of at least 2 planning commissioners that started out that, why not 5 acres? Why would you not go to that tract size? So we're just taking the input that's given to us.
Absolutely.
And putting it out there.
Any other questions for Jim?
I want to thank Jim for all of his work on it.
Oh, my goodness.
ETDD, I mean, it's been a lot.
Jim will put A and B on April 1st. C will put on hold until you get the paperwork.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your time.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Okay, next up is general public comments, but before I do that, Van's got a comment or
I
two.
want to tell the county commission up here, there are a number of residents back here from the Hope Creek, Buttermilk Road, Davis Lane neighborhood. This is an issue that's been ongoing up there for a long time. Before they get up to speak, I want you to have just a little bit of background on it. It's a road that's been destroyed. That's one, that's Davis Lane, and I ultimately, destroyed. I'm not just talking about a pothole here and there, it's been destroyed. Buttermilk Road comes from Watt Road all the way back into Loudon County to Williams Ferry and Woodlawn. So it's a long road, but where the problem is coming off of Watt Road in Knox County. For a long time now, and it can vary, a year or 2, I don't know how long it's been going on. I just found out about last July. We're having 100, 125 dump trucks per day going into the end of Davis Lane that has been destroyed. So the Davis Lane people that are here are very concerned about their road because you can't drive it. If you're driving a little car of some kind, you're in trouble. The Hope Creek community is off of Buttermilk, and they have to negotiate and navigate Buttermilk Road with 100 to 125 of these dump trucks a day. And I think you may hear from some of these, and I'm glad Jimmy's here with us tonight, that it's not always a safe maneuver to try to navigate with these dump trucks. Buttermilk Road's a very small, very curvy road. It's a county road, and yes, they can use it, but from back to what, it's a very dangerous situation. So that's just a little background, so, I don't know who signed up, if any of them signed up, Henry?
Oh, there's quite a few,
Okay,
but I'll call you in the order in which you signed in at.
and let me tell you all this, guys, county commission, tonight's the first time they've heard us, they're our friend. The sheriff is our friend, the highway superintendent is our friend. We're gonna all work together to find some kind of a resolution to this, hopefully starting tonight, so just let me put that out there.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Where are the dump trucks going to and from?
Lovell Road,
Level Road
coming.
all the way down?
they're coming from Joe Morrison's end, they come off 321, a much smaller number. The big number is coming all the way from Lovell Road near the interstate. So
Okay,
they run all the back roads in Knox County, all the way down to Watt Road,
okay,
turn right, go past Vulcan, and then
Yes.
turn up Buttermilk down there. I have followed them to and from the job site.
okay,
I sat up there for 2 hours at a time, several different days, because Bob said we need license plate numbers and company names. So, yeah,
Okay.
most it's Knox County.
okay, all right.
What's the destination? Welcome,
Do what?
the destination, or just
They're taking it to the end of Davis Road
it's a
and dumping it.
private residence?
Yeah.
Private
They're
home.
filling in
all his ponds.
Yeah.
I think it's a 30-acre tract.
Oh, goodness.
He also has access from Grub Road. He owns a tract on
Yeah,
Grub.
he's not gonna be coming off Grub Road for sure.
No, that's crazy.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
No problem.
Good, he owns it.
Chip Lynn, you're up first.
Thank you. My name is Chip Lynn. I'm the information and technology person for WLNT and WLOD radio here in Loudon. About a year and a half ago, me and my assistant started working on a disaster recovery plan to keep us on the air to be able to disseminate information in times when there may be inclement weather or like during the snowmageddon that we had a while ago. I had Mayor Buddy Bradshaw on the air quite a few times disseminating information. So we're trying to shore that up and cover up power outages. And I got to talking with Bill James and with Chase Randolph about how we could work together to shore that up, and that's why we're working on this power and generation backup plan. Our goal is to install some equipment to keep us on, even if there's a power failure. And we have a blend of different things. We can take utility power, solar power, battery power. That's to keep us on and going. I hope to, we get this done, hope to have something actually working here within a month, and then have the solar added in about 2 months. So we're asking for a little bit of money to do that, and we're using a company here in town, Chasing Gremlins, which is owned by Mitch Miller, to help us with some of the work that goes along with that.
Do you use your salt?
Anybody have any questions?
It's on for discussion in just a little bit.
And what is this for? A generator, solar, what's it for?
It's just really to store power, so think of a computer UPS. If the power goes off, it keeps us running, so we don't get interrupted. So it's storing power.
So it's a battery pack.
It is a battery pack. It's not, people always think like a car battery. It's not that. It's a rack-mounted battery module.
But not a generator.
It's not a true generator. No, it generates power from solar and it stores power.
If there is an emergency in Loudon County, there's no one that give me any higher confidence to listen to than Mayor Bradshaw. I will feel so much better if he's on the air.
Well, he's very generous with his time,
Yeah.
and I do appreciate him for that. We try to do everything we can to get information out to people when systems may be compromised.
Chip, I think it's a good thing, obviously. Commissioner James and I definitely want to help you on this. It's something that could benefit the whole community, you know. Hopefully never need, but have if we did.
That's what our plan was. We looked at what areas we were deficient in, and obviously power is something we have to have. And so we have a pretty good plan put together, and this will sort of be the icing on the cake. We have a lot of backup scenarios and plans like that, so if anything, when something happens, we're ready.
Sounds good.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay. Blake Moore.
Good evening.
My name is Blake Moore, resident of Loudon County, and I'm here to speak briefly regarding governmental communications. In the interest of time and things that need to be discussed here tonight, I will speak from my prepared notes. An uninformed public is a danger to good government, and the current de facto source of information in our county, good or bad, is Facebook, due in part to challenges within our current website. Case in point is the most recent snowstorm where there was no information on our county website, so uninformed citizens made up their own truths on social media. There are also questions regarding roads, new schools, record storage, records retention, open enrollment for students, new offices for the county clerk in Lenore City, et cetera, and of course many others. Our current website is outdated, reliant upon hard coding and the whims of someone being able to get the time to update it. It is not just a question of why we need a new website to be the central source of truth in our county. To be quite honest, that's been discussed ad nauseum in many cases and in many venues. The real question is, why would we not want that? Commissioner Randolph has this on the agenda, so I will defer to his time for further discussion, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. John Raynard.
It's the Davis Lane issue, and many have a lot of research and everything. Mine's simple, it's not wide enough for these dump trucks and us, and we have to go out the side of the road. We just spent $944 on ball joints and struts for a Subaru. So it's just little people are getting hurt by what's going on there. And anyway, I'll let everyone else talk, but it's an issue.
Thank you. John Hung.
Just for your information, this is my pastor, so everybody be nice. I gotta sit around him every Sunday.
I hope he's praying a lot.
He's got a lot of work with you.
I think this is my time right now, right? This is my
How
bad.
about
I'm also I'm a Loudon County resident. I live on Hope Creek Road. I hate what's happened to my neighbors on Davis, but I've experienced extreme danger from these dump trucks. I have swerved out of their way 24 times. They are driving across the double line consistently. It's unbelievable. It's not careless, it's reckless. I have pulled over Mr. Purdue's farm road to get clumps of dirt and rock off the road. I have pulled into the church and cemetery on the way to Dixie Lane quarry and got some clumps of dirt and rock off that road, and there's a little bit of pull off on the Kirby Road up there that I pulled over there. So it's just incredible. I just cannot believe it. I thought at first it was just gonna be a short term and they would get something done, but it has not stopped, it has not ended. And I wanna say that today I was driving back and I thought, well, that dump truck is doing good. I'm so glad they pulled into Dixie Quarry. The quarry people have been good. I've been there 4 years. Most of these people have lived there longer than I have. I know it's not the quarry. It's not the dump. They have dump trucks too. And so it's just terrible. It's beyond terrible what's happening on that road. I am absolutely shocked that there hasn't been an accident. And if there is an accident, it's gonna be worse, and I hate it for the Subaru, but it's gonna be worse. Somebody's gonna get hurt really, really bad if this isn't stopped. Thank you.
Thank you. Dennis Dayton.
I'm gonna stay seated if that's okay with you.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
I thank you very much for letting us talk to the committee. We live at the end of Davis Lane, adjacent to the property where the dump trucks are going to. Whaley Construction Company has the permits, has a permit, it's almost 3 years old, to dump into a sinkhole. That has not been, that process has not been finished. There is also another permit that was issued about a year ago for a larger sinkhole on the backside of that piece of property. The dump trucks have been a hazard on their road, particularly on Davis Lane. The road was not constructed, it's not a wide road. We have often been driven off the road by dump trucks that are coming through. It's either some dump trucks will move aside or stop and let you through, some do not. We have been driven off the road a number of times. Again, it's a safety concern. The road is not designed for thickness of asphalt for for those dump trucks. It's breaking up a lot of the road. I guess that's pretty much my thoughts. There is a lot, especially on our end of Davis Lane, near the property or the sinkholes. There is a lot of damage to the roads in that area. A lot of broken pavements, a lot of potholes, sides of the roads messed up, and so on. So it's a safety hazard. Again, I want to thank you for listening to us.
Thank you. Catherine Haskin, I think I'm saying it right. There you go.
Hi, thank you for allowing us to express our concerns. We live on Hope Creek Road, and we noticed the trucks getting really bad, I guess, a year ago. I'm talking hundreds of trucks back and forth all day long. It's a very narrow road. I was wondering, are 18-wheelers allowed to go down that road?
Sure.
Any signs posted?
I think I saw a sign that says no trucks allowed at Watt Road, right where the truck stop is.
That's kind of odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I spoke to the Highway Patrol today about the signs. They have to be posted by the county or state, and we could enforce those by failure to follow traffic control signs.
Because I was thinking, those trucks probably can't see those signs that are at Watt Road because they're coming from behind.
By the Flying J coming
Yeah.
that way out there.
And so it seems to me like if 18-wheelers can't come back there, why would the dump trucks with the heavy rocks be able to come back there? It's a very narrow road. I have a very small 4-door sedan.
Yep.
I feel like I'm going to die every day. When they cross that line, I'm afraid for my life. I'm praying every day that I can get through this road. There's nowhere to go. There's either a wall of mountain or a valley, and no matter what I do, if I choose to stay straight or if I go that way or go this way, I'm going to die. Somebody's going to die, I think. And I'm surprised if we haven't had an accident yet. It's maybe because nobody said anything. Because it's scary. I don't want to use my skills. We have seen accidents on that road before where people drive off the road and they don't make it. They just drive off the road and went into the water down Hope Creek Road where the silo is. And I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but he died. People don't live when they crash on that road. That's a very narrow road. I'm concerned for the safety of others. Thank you all for letting me speak.
Is there any other entrance to the sinkhole other than the way they're coming now?
Grub road.
It's a smaller, much smaller road. It's one lane. It's not an option.
No,
They would have to redo that road. It's
Grub road to
it's made
driveways.
for one-lane traffic.
Well, do we know the outcome of this? I mean, is there an end date to?
We're going to
filling
have that
these
conversation when this
sinkholes?
is done,
Okay.
yes. Billy's gonna update us on his meeting today, so
Okay, good.
we're gonna get to that one point.
Yeah, they could come from the other end of 321, but that still creates another problem. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's the same road.
Yeah, he lives on that end of it, so he's seen them coming that way.
I've videotaped them, I've got several videotapes of their reckless driving. I don't know if they're just in a hurry and they're not thinking about what they're doing, but they cross the line every day.
Who's the owner of the sinkhole?
It's an LLC. I tried to call the principal last week and they told me you gotta do what you gotta do and they're gonna do what they gotta do. That was their response.
Bohart,
It's Beaufort
Beaufort.
LLC. I talked to the principal. I don't remember his name.
Real long, weird name.
Yeah, actually it was his assistant, but she was aware of the situation and that was her response, so.
Are you Mr. Price?
I'm Satterfield.
Satterfield, okay. Is Mr. Price here? There you go. These are the two I've actually had, knew who I was talking to. The rest of them were phone numbers, so nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Al Pry.
Yes, Perry.
There you go.
That's okay. Well, good evening and appreciate the opportunity to be here. Hello, Mr. Schaefer. He's been very helpful. I've never met him before. Nice to finally meet you. I prepared some notes, so I keep within the 5 minutes, but I'm gonna vary from them right off the bat, veer from them. That statistic that Mr. Schaefer gave, 100 to 125 dump trucks per day. Based on an 8-hour day, I think just running some quick numbers, what does that work out to be? 12 to 15 trucks per hour. Because basically every 5 minutes, we've got a dump truck coming up and down Buttermilk in Davis Lane. So you can see clearly from the kind of turnout this evening, the number of people that are concerned. Don't want to be overly dramatic, but it was kind of reminding me of the movie Titanic, where they start talking about the mathematical certainty is every time something's going to happen. So I wanted to make those few comments, but let me jump into my scripted notes. So first of all, in my humble opinion, I think this comes down to two key issues. One is clearly public safety. The other is clearly the extensive and significant road damage and who is going to be responsible for paying for that and when will it occur. This weekend, I kind of nosed around the internet trying to look at some of the Tennessee code information and the Loudon County Municipal Code information and found some interesting things. In my humble opinion, there's probably at least 4 or 5 code violations that are clearly evident with what's going on. But I'm not going to play jailhouse lawyer. Clearly, the officials need to make that type of determination. If anybody's interested in what those codes are, I'd be happy to pass them along. But let me comment on each one of those topics. First of all, as far as safety goes, first, please understand what Mr. Shaver is saying is not an exaggeration. I mean, it's like the surface of the moon. You have got to really be on your game to dodge around those craters. And of course, you've got to look and see whether or not there's a truck coming your way. Is there a child from a bus stop? Because we've got a bus stop right there at the intersection, which I think is a very key piece of information at Davis and Rocky Top. And I don't know if they still have one, but we used to have a bus stop. Kids would get picked up in the morning at Buttermilk in Davis, and they've also got a pickup spot at Hope Creek, is my understanding. So God forbid something happens with one of these children, clearly at a bus stop. So I would also like to say, I know these folks have talked about the fact it's very tight on driving on Buttermilk. There's no question about that. And clearly with distracted driving, as prevalent as it is, you can see from the National Transportation Association, the state of Tennessee, Loudon County statistics, distracted driving, I think in Loudon County was up 27%. The most recent data I saw, I think, was between 2020 and 2021. That is ticking up every year. So we already don't have enough room for any kind of error on Buttermilk with all these trucks. God forbid if anybody happens to be reaching for a CB handle or somebody's changing a radio or anything like that. It could just happen like that. Distracted driving is a big concern, I think, in that area. Again, we talked about the volume. Also for younger drivers, let's face it, many of us have kids, many of them are maybe adults now, or you may have younger drivers.
They don't have as much experience in trying to navigate those type of situations. Also, no disrespect to folks who are a little bit older, but as we get a little older, we're not as sharp and our reflexes aren't as quick. Again, it just looks like it's a potential disaster waiting to happen. The school bus stop is a big concern also. The state of Tennessee has got some information on their website that talks about the fact, and I went back and read this 3 times because it seemed hard to believe, that 1 out of 4 traffic accidents that occur at intersections involve a large truck. Now, whether or not that is an intersection where it's 4-way, 3-way, I have absolutely no idea, but that fact in and of itself was very concerning. I tried to dig into the details of it, couldn't find it, but again, I think a big concern. The last comment is regarding the road destruction. I've been driving for 45 years, and I can tell you, I don't think I've ever seen worse road conditions than what we've seen. My wife's been driving for around that same amount of time, but I'm sure a few years less. And I think she would tell you the same thing. If the damage to Davis Lane is permitted to continue, what happens if other Loudon County residents also want to have endless numbers of dump trucks come to their property? How much are Loudon County residents and officials willing to spend on repairing or replacing roads? Do we set a costly and dangerous precedent by allowing this to continue? Surely we all can recognize there's got to be a better use for road repair or replacement monies, whether it's for first responders, schools, economic development. There's many other things that those monies could be used for. In wrapping up, we recently or respectfully request that the decision makers related to this matter promptly assess whether an unnecessary safety risk is being taken for those traveling on Davis Lane and Buttermilk, and determine that the cost for repair or replacement should be with the parties who are responsible for the damage to Davis Road. Sincerely, Alan Lisa Perry. Sincerely appreciate your time and your attention to this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ben Satterfield.
So I won't repeat everything that my next door neighbor Al just said, except to say everything I've heard so far is totally accurate. I'm Ben Satterfield. I've lived in Loudon County 24 years. I've lived on Rocky Top 24 years. I've used Davis Lane for 24 years. I've never seen anything this bad out there. We've had a lot of houses built out there. We're having another couple houses about to start. Never had any issues like this. As I stated a while ago, I tried to reach out to the property owner, and that didn't really work. I feel like they're kind of gonna, what they said, they're gonna do what they gotta do until we do something about it. So that's why I'm here. I have a 19-year-old. She drives that road frequently. My wife's been running off the road by the trucks. I have, my daughter has. So it's definitely an issue. I'm gonna leave it at that. I agree with everything that's been said. This gentleman down at the very end, if you can see his driveway where it comes out, it's dirt. There's nothing there. It's a dirt road now. It's ridiculous. What I would like to ask is that we stop the trucks immediately, whatever we have to do. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Dreama Stone.
My husband Paul and I live at 3096 Davis Lane, and it's incredible what's been happening there. I've got pictures on my phone. I don't know if you want to see some of the 200-pound slabs of asphalt torn up in front of my mailbox. The mailbox, some days the mailman cannot run to my house because this house has been, the road's been torn up. The trucks have destroyed about 12 to 18 inches of both sides of Davis Lane, so it's really only a one-lane road now. But it's so dangerous that there is a 20-mile speed limit sign at the beginning of Davis, which is ignored by the trucks almost all day long. One day last week, I counted 88 trucks by 12:38 a.m., right after noon, 88 trucks. There have been so many lately that they started stacking up in people's yard waiting to dump because they can't get side by side, so they've stacked and torn up our grass. I put red flags along my driveway, which I don't know how long that'll last. But the 20-mile speed limit is ignored. There's somebody, I guess the county recently put a sign out there that says no, a red truck with no a line through it. Within 2 or 3 days, there was a black bag hung over that. I asked one of the truck drivers, I stopped him and I said, because you can't go to the mailbox when the trucks are running. So I stopped him and I said, do you see a sign down there that says no trucks? And he said, yes, ma'am. And I said, why are you here? And he said, because my boss told me to ignore it. I had another truck driver that sped down by Paul and I when we were down by the road, actually doing some cleaning of some branches and stuff that were down. And I said, slow down. He was going so fast, and the dust was just rolling off the road because, as I said, it's not asphalt anymore. And he slammed the brakes on, backed up, and said to me, "You're not allowed to talk to the truck drivers." And I said, "Just slow down." And he said, "I'm going to speed limit." And I said, "No, sir, you weren't." He said, "Well, I'm a retired cop, and you can't talk to me," basically like that. I'm like, I didn't say anything else, but I'm supposed to care. You know, he said, "We can ignore that sign." And I told my husband when I got back in, I said, "I wish I had said, can we all ignore signs along Loudon County? Like you're doing, you know, you're a retired cop, you should know better." But I mean, it is so dangerous down there. It's so torn up. I don't know if anybody wants to see these.
We're gonna
My
see,
husband has
we're gonna
to-
see a video in a minute.
Okay, he has to move these slabs to get the mailman to be able to deliver mail to my house. And it's ridiculous, and the dust is incredible. I know that Dennis can't hardly even get out, the dust is so bad, so. Just thank you for listening to us. It's been going on for over 2 years. Over 2 years now, and it's ridiculous. And the owners of the property, DEVERNJA, they will not talk. They will not talk. They're just so obstinate about it, so, thank you.
Thank you. Pat Hunter.
No, you're starting off.
My name is Pat Hunter, and I reside in Loudon County, even though I live in our city address. I would like to bring up a couple of issues. I attended the planning meeting last week, and I heard the comments from the regional county planners. And one planner specifically requested, and I haven't heard it mentioned, he wanted to have the county mayor involved in some fashion to get the word out because of this proposed Article 5. And I think it's a real good idea. I also think, I agree with Mr. Moore, that our website needs to be addressed. There's so much information that we should be receiving that we're not. And the newspaper has just failed us miserably. They're not covering anything. The reporter comes, but no articles come as a result. With this Article 5, I recall several years ago when an agribusiness farmer placed a full-size ad, and the number of farmers that attended the workshop meeting lined the hallway of the county office building because they were concerned about a zoning issue that would impact them. So somehow, I agree with you, Mr. Randolph, we need to get the word out to those who will be affected by this proposed zoning. How we do it is another story, but we need public input. We also need a website that works for the citizens and doesn't keep us in a vacuum where we don't know what's going on. The other thing is, Commissioner Randolph has an item on there about, I don't know, what is it, hiring an attorney for the commission. I'm concerned about this. We have currently 2 attorneys working for Loudon County. One is the county attorney, who's been there for a number of years. I think he served the county well. And we also have Mr. Baisley, who's working on a lawsuit, the annexation lawsuit. What concerns me is that at one time, Loudon County was the lowest tax base in the state. We're no more. McMinn County at $1.08, Gibson at $1.10, Cumberland at $1.13, Fayette at $1.29, Fentress at $1.35, Weekly at $1.37, Obion at $1.38, Macon at $1.41, Carroll at $1.41, Grundy, $1.42, Bradley, $1.43, $1.43, Henderson, $1.45, Sevier at $1.48, and Loudon County at $1.51. What concerns me is that if I look at all these counties and I look at their legal, McMinn is at $44,134. Most of the counties are in the mid-20s. Cumberland, that has a population of 61,000, is at 74,884. Ours, right out of the audit, was $233,858. That is out of the current audit. So I think that we have to spend less and utilize our resources better. So we cannot continue, especially if we're looking at a 30 cent per 100 tax. We're not going to be number 12. So that needs to be discussed in the near future about this proposed $115 million school building program. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public comments.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna ask indulgence of the commission. Our meeting's already gone a little long here. We have a number of folks here that probably don't have a lot of interest in the other things, but are interested in this Davis Lane Buttermilk Road thing. Could I move that to the top of the agenda and let's go ahead and address this now? And I'm gonna ask in a minute for Billy Pickle to come up, but what I'm gonna ask for first of all is if Tammy can get to our links to play. I've just got two little short videos right here. This is the company. Are you gonna play this one first?
Hold on, I'll go back.
That's fine. Play this one first, it'll be fine.
Okay.
This is where they're dumping the dirt. This is about a 4-acre piece, and it'll zoom back out here in a minute. That's a big D9 cat up there moving. You'll see the dump truck coming in on top, just to give you some scale of what we're looking at here. That's probably 20 feet high bank of dirt right there. And this has been 2 months ago that I recorded this one.
What is the intended use of this? What are they?
Just to fill up, just to make money. They're just filling in a gigantic low place just to fill it up.
It looks like they got it full.
No, they're gonna make,
Look
it
at that
can
hole,
come.
look at that hole right there to go to.
The pond's the lowest point of the whole place right there. Just, what I've been told is pasture. They're just gonna make pasture. Now, they've got as much pasture now, but somebody's paying a lot of money to allow that dirt to be dumped there. Maybe Billy's gonna be able to enlighten us on that in a few minutes.
Big money.
Yeah, man, it's big money.
Big money.
I think it stopped. Go on to the next one now. The next one is just, I want you to see where they're talking about Davis Lane and passing the dump truck. This is myself, and I wasn't driving and recording before I start getting those calls. Last time I got in trouble with that, I was a passenger, but this is this is what it looks like going out Davis Lane,
Hold on.
if it goes there in a minute.
So this been going on 2 to 3 years, is what they've said?
I heard about last July, and it's been going at least a year. I'm hearing 2 in the back. Bowman says 4. Our county attorney says it's been going on 4 years.
It's starting the 3rd year.
Oh, come on, play, baby, play. There we go. Now, all you're gonna see, if you look closely and try to see the road, the shadow makes it hard, but you'll be able to watch the shoulders right here on either side. The shoulders are gone. I mean, and in a minute, when you see the 2 trucks pass, you'll understand what they've all been talking about. And this is 100 to 125 trucks per day. Per day. There's not another section of this county that anybody would tolerate this.
How fast do you think you're going right there?
Over the speed limit.
Because the truck's leaving.
We're doing 35 miles an hour, and I'm telling my son, speed up, speed up. I want to.
They're anywhere between 30 and 40 miles an hour.
Yes, yes.
Long stretch.
1 mile. Davis Lane is 1 mile long. Buttermilk is 2 miles from the end of Davis Lane back to Watt Road.
You just paid to pay Buttermilk 2 years
That's right.
ago. And it will be, it's already starting to break down.
We're coming up. I want you to see how they pass right here.
Designed
wide
to
as the
just stop
road.
traffic. Now, devil's advocate, it is legal commercial traffic.
Absolutely it is.
How do you stop it?
That's what we're gonna hear that from the experts in a minute.
He's running loaded now, Van?
No, he's empty now. He's leaving now.
Oof.
Usually loaded, they come in 3 at a time or more.
And they're dumping dirt clods.
Oh, there's dirt
all
everywhere.
around.
On Buttermilk's the dirt. On Davis, you can't tell because it's all dirt. Now, when they pass, I want you to watch the speed doesn't hardly even change.
It's right there.
That's exactly right. Watch them pass right here. Plumb off on both sides of the road.
Yeah.
So that's good enough. We're just going to the intersection. But now I want everybody to get a little visual of what these folks are talking about. This is intolerable, and I apologize. Mr. Pierce, Mr. Price contacted me last July and said, hey, we got some road issues up here. I forwarded it to Billy. Billy went out and threw some asphalt in. We're good. Well, he started sending me pictures later on of what he meant by we got some problems. Then I went up there and I saw, I was stunned by what I saw.
I think the volume, after I contacted you, the volume of the traffic picked up.
It has increased.
How is the property where they're dumping zoned?
Agricultural.
Is he buying it or is he letting them pour it in?
I would say they're paying to dump it there. Again, maybe
Would that
Billy's
not
going
make
to.
it industrial?
I don't know what it
Commercial?
does. I don't know. I have no answers to this. All I know, I'm with the last gentleman that spoke. It needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. They're going to fix the road. I think we're going to hear about that in a minute.
But if it's A1 and he's paying, I mean, that becomes an
It's a
industrial-
commercial business.
Commercial.
And maybe, Billy, if I'm not mistaken, don't they have a TDEC permit to do this? I'm gonna ask the road superintendent to come on up. I've said all that, you've heard from these people. We gotta figure out how we resolve this. Before, like I said, the school bus, we got a school bus goes through there twice a day. They stop at Hope Creek, they stop at Davis Lane, and then they go right on down to Watt Road, come back up Watt Road onto Hickory Creek. So that school bus is going through there twice. I don't know how the dump trucks and the school bus pass on Buttermilk. I don't know how they can do it. Go ahead, Mr. Pickle.
Okay, so today, I'm Billy Pickle, I'm your office road superintendent. I appreciate y'all coming to take part in the discussion on this, because it is a problem, it's a bad problem, it's obvious.
Boy, you speak up close to you,
That
Billy.
it's a bad problem. I did have a meeting this morning, me and one of my assistants went and met with the county attorney, Bob Bowman, in his office in Knoxville, with representatives from Whaley Construction, one of them being Mr. Whaley, one of the Whaley himself, and his operations director. They know their rights. I'll put that out there right now. They know what rights they have better than I do, probably. Now, I know that something was said about no truck signs and coming in from Knox County. Knox County is a charter of government. Loudon County operates under a private act, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody may be able to correct me on that. What we have to fall back on is the generic TCA codes. Knox County, being different, Sheriff Davis could probably shed more light on the difference between those two types of governments and some of the laws that they may have. But the TCA codes allow us to set weight limits. Well, I say us. I don't have any right except to go out there and repair the road. And I'm gonna get to that subject here in just a second. The county legislative body has the right to ask TDOT to come in and set a weight limit on a structure on a county road. Now, I've been provided with that information. You can find it on CTAS website. CTAS is an organization from the University of Tennessee that helps counties. There's another extension of them, it's called MTAS, for municipalities to help them sort out things. But there's a snapshot of that on their website that tells what the county legislative body would need to do to set a weight limit. County attorney obviously is hired to counsel you all on this. We met with Whaley though, and told them we wanted to stop yesterday and road fix tomorrow. And of course, that's not the case.
It might yet be, Billy. It might yet be.
Well, and that's up to you all. That's not up to me. I wished it had stopped months ago, But, anyhow, they have agreed to, make the repairs to the road. They wanna meet with us out there. There's a Supreme Court ruling that the county attorney found, that, you know, helps us come to the table leveraging that now, because it's happened, you know, stuff like this has happened in other jurisdictions, that, you know, the Supreme Court's made this ruling, so the company knows they have to fix the road. There's no question about that. Now, the trucking company did give some sort of a timetable to where they would be done without any legislation being passed by the county legislative body. And that was, at the end of the year, if not sooner. I have no, and you have to understand, I have no negotiation power in that meeting. The county legislative body, sets rules like the Article 5 thing and the planning and codes enforcement, line. The sheriff can make a recommendation on the speed limit, the county legislative body pass a resolution on the speed limit. I'll put the signs up, I'll put up whatever kind of sign that the resolution says that I need to put up. I have no problem with that. Once I get the sign put up, I'll go back over to the sheriff, take care of the enforcement. Now, one thing that we did negotiate today was, with those repairs, is whether it's, and I'm wanting to be realistic about this, is they come out there and make the repairs, and they're continuing to haul because it's gonna take at least till April 1st for a resolution to be passed. Unless there's some other law that somebody's got and folded up in the back of their book somewhere that they can pull out and well, it'd still be April 1st before a resolution is passed. But they're gonna maintain the repairs. Where we didn't make the repairs back whenever it was, they will keep that up and keep the road swept, fix the yards back where they've been running through people's yards. And they asked about putting shoulder stone down. I said, no, the stone on the edge of the road, that just means that they'll start driving on that stone and start pulling off even farther. Next thing you know, you're up next to their house, you know, driving out through there. You know, they want their yard, they want everything back through them, and they understood that, so.
So you're gonna have to have somebody that, so you've mentioned road repair, weight limit, and speed. So you'd have to have somebody there to weigh the trucks, check the speed
Enforcement's gonna
limit.
be tough on the weight.
Truck weight limits is not even an option.
I
It's
just
not
think-
even an option.
It's not
I
a
think the
reasonable
thing is, the number of trucks that are coming up and down through there, if we can cut that back or
Well, and they
something.
are,
I mean-
and in our talks today, they said they would be trying to identify another place to dump besides there.
But I
Now,
mean,
they
they're
do have a
raking-
job, they have been hired by this, property owner at the end of the road to bring, they've hired Whaley's to bring that dirt to them to fill in these places for pasture.
So the property owner is paying Whaley's, or the property owner is getting paid?
The property owner is paying Whaley, is my understanding.
For those loads,
I bet you that goes the
Oh,
other way.
that's-
too.
I bet it's the exact opposite.
The Loudon County landfill would love all that dirt.
Well, let's go back to enforcement right quick, and let me bring up how we got here. I started contacting the county attorney, and I think Billy was probably on every email that I sent him. Here's our problem. So first thing he said, well, I need some license plate numbers, I need some company names. I said, bingo, you'll have it. I went there, I sat multiple days for 2 hours at a time, took license plates, pictures, and got names of companies, provided all that back to the county attorney. So the next step was to get a sign. We talked about putting a sign up. Billy had waited, and he finally got our sign up, put the sign up. So I called the attorney and I said, okay, we got our sign up. To be fair, can I go ahead and call the sheriff and ask him to start writing, not tickets, but what? Warning tickets. And he said, for what? I said, well, we got the don't drive on the road sign. Well, you can't tell they can't drive on the road. And I said, well, Bob, that's gonna come to a shock to a lot of people that's gotten tickets in trucks that's been driving on roads with no truck signs. Well, I don't know nothing about that, but you can't prevent somebody from driving on the county road. And then he started on this weight limit thing. I said, well, how do you enforce it? Well, you'd have to bring out scales, the THP would have to come. I said, Bob, no, we're not going down that road. So what Jimmy said a minute ago, and when we did it 2 years ago and put the signs out in Hotchkiss Valley and Sugar Lemon, Hubbard, and over in the 3rd District, what you cite them for is ignore,
Failure to comply with traffic.
failure to comply with the traffic sign. I don't know where Bob went. I don't know what happened in the process of this conversation, but we were on a march to have this stop. I'm with these people here. Talk about maybe October or maybe the end of the year. Somebody's gonna die between now. And fixing Davis Lane does not deal with Buttermilk or Hope Creek. That doesn't solve their problem at all. They can go in there and put gravel every day. They're still driving Knox County all the way to get there. And it's scary. It's scary. You've heard them witness it. So I don't know the answer here. But Billy was the one who had the meeting today, but I'm more than prepared.
If they haul a shovel load back out.
I'm more prepared at our next meeting to absolutely take a vote of some kind to say, this stops today. Bob wrote a great letter to them and explained to them that they were going to pay the road, fix the road on the Supreme Court ruling. But so be it. In 2 years from now, 3 years from now, who knows?
It's not just patching a few
No,
potholes.
no,
This
no,
is
no,
not
no.
repairing.
That's the
Mr.
one.
Pickle has.
Is the sign still up?
Yes.
No trucks?
Yes.
Well, the sheriff, can you go out there tomorrow and start issuing tickets?
It's on Davis Lane too, it's not in another
what-
county.
So again,
what does the
sheriff,
sign
wait,
say?
sheriff, can you go start issuing tickets tomorrow?
Well, we'll get up officers up there tomorrow. for sure.
Warning.
much.
And I'll tell you what, they need to start down there. You don't need to be in Knox County, but there's several pull-offs after you hit the county, Loudon County side of that line, because they come out by Flying J, up Watt Road, and then up Buttermilk. And they gotta climb that grade in Knox County, and I'm telling you, when they start down the other side, it's a roller coaster, buddy. So if they're on that side, it's one thing, you will catch them. They cannot stay on their side of the line, there's no possible way. And the cars are pulling off the shoulder, so you have that situation, then of course you've got the Davis Lane situation. Where you want to pursue or look into this, I don't know. My hope was to just make it not be a comfortable place just to run the trucks and tear everything up.
So what will that do? You issue a citation,
Well,
what does that
What we'll
do?
do is we'll put deputies in the area and hopefully that will slow them down.
But you're still gonna
Because
have
you
100
can-
trucks
you
an
have to
hour
know
going
truck signs,
through.
But if there's a speed issue, you know, we can run radar, we can run them for their speed. That's what they don't want, because that starts hitting their CDL.
That's right.
And it'll
That
slow them
hits their
down quick.
CDL.
And that doesn't hit the company, that hits the driver.
That hits the driver, and the driver will back off it.
But still, they're gonna have 100 trucks an hour going through. That's not gonna,
It'll slow them
How many
down.
axles these dump trucks have? 3?
6. Well, 2 on the back, 1 on the right, 6 axles.
Yeah, it's a triaxle.
Yeah.
Six wheels.
Can we
I'm
limit
sorry,
axles
3.
on it? Instead of going the weight limit route, can we limit axles allowed on?
Bob says you can't enforce any signs.
The more axles, the more weight you carry.
I mean, we know
Yeah.
what weight enforcement's gonna be near impossible.
Well,
Can we limit, no
Well,
trucks with more than.
TCA mentions, and I can't quote the chapter and verse, but the roads are supposed to hold 80,000 pounds. A public road is supposed to be rated for 80,000 pounds. I mean, we all know that they're not.
A lot of commercial vehicle enforcement, we can't do this when the state comes in and they, so I've already talked to their supervisor tonight and, we'll have some troopers and definitely some.
Oh, man.
But just so you know, the number of trucks is not the same every week.
Right.
We might have 100, 3 days, 4 days, it must be starting a new job. And then we might slow down to none or 20.
Well, they'll be up there, and
So-
what, if you see a problem, call, and we'll get a deputy up there.
Call who?
Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
The sheriff's office, dispatch center, 458-9081, and that'll get us up there.
Could you repeat that number, sir?
865-458-9081.
And guys, this is what I wanted tonight, was this is our first step.
We look back and we did not have one single call, dispatch call up there.
They call me.
They call you.
Call me.
You got the app, so just let me know.
And I don't want us to think that there's, I wanna make sure we're doing this right, because
I don't want you to go out there and spend your money repairing or replacing the road.
Well,
That's what this one.
you know,
When
I
this is
don't
not stopped.
I don't want to get the county, jammed up in some kind of liability with taking, you know, their rights away from them. I mean, they're, most of the highway department funds come from fuel tax. And that was one of the first.
Right, but we're talking about people's lives
Yeah.
here.
Well, I understand that,
Yeah.
and I understand that.
Are they all whaling?
No, but he's contracted all of them. I've identified 6 to 8 different companies. Some of them just little individual owners that I think Whaley's probably hired to help haul. So I don't know what a contractual issue is. The most of them's Whaley and Morristown Trucking Services. That's your two biggest ones right there. And I mean, buddy, they rock and roll.
But it's just hard for me to believe that
and Conti.
he has hired
No,
all these people. They have.
they're
got
paying to
be
dump that
paying
dirt.
him.
That's a
And
ton.
there has to be a way to find that out.
He's been operating in an A1 zone, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that all?
If he's getting money for them to dump, does that change his zone? Does
It
it
wouldn't
become
change his
commercial?
zone, it would be, is that illegal use for him obtaining money? The only thing I've heard is when you fight, I'm filling in for agricultural use would be the only battle you might have. If he was just allowing it as a dump site for this soil, just to become a
And I think
barren
they- I
earth
think
would be
they
a
know
different
where they're
animal.
going. I think they know.
Yeah, it's
we have
pasture.
rules
That's why
about
he said
it,
agriculture.
everything.
Well, sure,
I'm sure when they.
they know how to play the game. They're gonna play the game.
Well, our sheriff's gonna play it back, aren't you, Sheriff?
Well, safety is, that's where it comes to my court.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but do they have permits to change the water?
That's where Jimmy
Do
takes
they have
over.
permits to change basically the flood
Billy,
zone
answer that.
topographical area?
They got TDEC permits.
They do have that. They
Have
do
you seen them, Billy? Bob said they do. I've heard you say they do. I haven't seen it. Have you seen a TDEC permit on here?
I'm not gonna go find it.
Jim?
If you remind me, I can look it up tomorrow and tell you if they have SWIP
He just
permits.
addressed that, the water's backing up on us.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like putting a landfill in there, so you
Who
can probably get
issues
them on
permits?
the
Who
landfill.
issues
So much
Construction are free.
State of Tennessee.
Right there.
So has the state been out to see?
I doubt seriously, no.
They just
Yeah,
give them permits because
that's
they
what the
have?
state does.
Well, they're supposed to be making periodic inspections too.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, let me say, go ahead.
Can I just maybe say a couple quick things as far as some of the municipal codes go?
Well, and I hope you're using that term wrong, because,
The municipal code, it's just it's what I.
well, we're not under municipal code, that's the city.
Okay, this Loudon code,
That may be the
It'd
city.
be
Loudon
county.
municipal code.
okay,
Yeah.
it was updated, 9/26,
Cities have
2022.
ordinances, counties have resolutions.
Okay, I thought it was Loudon County.
Whenever you was reading that earlier, you mentioned municipal code, I was afraid that you might pull that.
That may have been some terminology maybe they used on there, but I doubt the verbiage itself is far off. I could be wrong, there's just a couple. 15107 talks about keeping a vehicle within the boundaries of the proper lane. You can't keep it within the proper lane, cause you gotta dodge all around it so that you don't end up happening with what the Rainers had with their, suspension.
That's where it comes in. That's where it comes in with speed, failure to maintain lane, reckless driving, that's all
Yeah.
that's all seen right there.
It's 15107, and that's current.
Fair to
I think
maintain
as
lane,
of
that's a
September
state
twenty
TCA.
twenty-two, and then 15109 talks about failure to comply with traffic control signs, which is what we've just talked about.
There should be a 55 in front of that.
I didn't see that, but there was something about it. And then 11804 talks about interfering with free passage of pedestrian or vehicular traffic. You can't do that, you can't impede that. But the condition of the road, it is impeding.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna ask the graces of these folks. We've got a lot of stuff left to do. We've covered it. We've heard you. We're on it. Sheriff's on it. We're gonna pursue this to some kind of an end. But I'm gonna ask now if we can kind of move on to our next agenda item, if that don't hurt anybody's feelings. And if you all wanna go out of here, I didn't say you, preacher. If y'all wanna leave here and not sit through the rest of this and hear 10 more things like this, you're more than welcome to blank out if you want to.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Especially Mr. Satterfield. It's good to have two in the same
He's a
room.
Satterfield. I'll be right back. We're gonna take just 1 minute. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna get something. I don't know what it is.
We appreciate it.
Buddy? I watched that truck driver. Don't lose that. Buddy, when we come back, we'll do the library board. You need a vote on that April 1st.
Appreciate you knowing where
And I'll check into that one. There's been times when he didn't go to bed.
And I got like 3,000. Somebody's paying. Somebody said on that
You're not paying to receive it, I promise you.
What's that?
You're not paying to receive it, that's for sure.
Practice everything. And he's far behind.
You got all the speakers. Mine will go quick.
Yeah, I was reading everything.
Yeah, you can.
Is that the only?
No, I've got it. All right. We're gonna do a knee on the front for you. Funeral.
Then I'm up steroids and antibiotics. Sorry. I've got some up here.
Thank you, sir.
I need a bag of cough drops up here. I understand that.
I don't have my bag with me, so I don't have any of the
It's all
Funeral.
in my purse. Take it.
No, I have the one you, the nebulizer.
I've got the NebuCan, I've got the nebulizer, and all of it's not working.
Okay.
It's gonna be a while, there's a line.
All you need to do is get the guys back.
I'm hoping this gets Bob off the diamond one. I'm hoping. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Billy.
Billy, thank you.
The farmers will show
Who am
up
I missing?
when they find out.
You got Bill Satterfield, you got Gary Whitfield, you got Joe Morrison. And then somebody have to tell those folks that didn't move on.
Can I get everybody back?
And they can stay all night, they just need to go down around the corner so we can hear it.
Do what you gotta.
Just ask them if they'll make that back.
Back up in the men's bathroom, there's a long line.
Long line was.
Yeah.
I believe that's the first time I've ever had that happen.
How that's gonna have to use Van's back pocket.
I'd like to watch that.
No. Not on
We've done that before.
Hey, Rosemary.
Oh, yeah.
Rosemary, what about this whole, I saw this commission agreement where y'all aren't gonna do the 6% anymore? How's that all gonna play out?
Good question.
You'll work for free?
Good question. Sounds like it.
Well, I was reading where like somewhere, I think England's like 1.5%, somewhere in Germany's 2.5. I mean,
Well, it will only hurt the buyers and the sellers. I mean, well, and that, but if you know, we're already seeing some 0% commission, compensating commissions,
what's the point of that for?
because they don't want to share money. And
I say like,
then,
what's the motivation for you?
and then nobody will go see their houses.
Yeah. But can the seller negotiate that with their agent
Yes.
on the front end?
That sounds like an.
So buyers are gonna have to start paying the commission to buyer's agents, and they can't afford to buy houses. And they're gonna have to pay that on top of it. Yeah, it's not good.
It's gonna be interesting to follow.
It will be. It's interesting to all of us.
Who's doing that, the state? Joe Biden?
All right, I'm gonna call the commission meeting back to order. Next up is Buddy Bradshaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Letter A under mine would be Ms. Brenda Lutz will be replacing Amy Cook for the remainder of her term on the library board. I would ask that be placed for confirmation on April 1st.
April 1st, it'll be on there. Okay, Commissioner Randolph.
Thank you, Chairman. Discussion of hiring legal counsel for county commission. This is in no way any type of slight to Bob Bowman. Bob Bowman is not this county commission's attorney. We do defer to him on issues, but he works for the mayor. And Bob has been doing this for many years and naturally over time has developed conflicts of interest with other local governments. That's the reason we had to go out and hire Kyle Baisley with the litigation that we're currently in with Lenore City, because Bob wouldn't address it because of prior conflict, prior engagements with Lenore City. Same with Loudon. We possibly could be staring down the barrel of another lawsuit involving another local government that he wouldn't, be interested in defending us.
Good.
Could. Thank you. So I just wanted to get your all's feedback on potentially hiring an attorney for us. I think this could be beneficial for this commission. I also think it could be very beneficial for the residents of Loudon County. Thoughts?
The only question I have, Mr. Inspector Randolph, is, did I in any way ask you, urge you, try to get you to add this to the agenda in any shape, form, or fashion?
Not at all.
Okay, thank you. Make that real clear on the front end. I support the ideal. We've been at this many, many years, and this topic's come up many times over the years. Mr. Bowman works for the mayor. Yes, we all use him, but he does have conflicts of a lot of things. Just the nature of their business. Kramer Racing's a big outfit, so they have a lot of conflicts. I think our first thing would have to be to discuss money. What is it we're paying Bob? What's the retainer? I know it's so much retainer, and then we pay him if it's a bigger deal than what's covered in the retainer. I think that would be the sort of thing we'd have to look at if we sought counsel outside of him. If we sought our own, would another attorney be willing to do that? So I think a lot of things like that's what we need to try to get ironed out. What is it we're looking for, pay-wise? Does it save us any money on? Can we, if Bob's doing less, can we cut that a little bit to put over on this side? Of course, Bob covers Sheriff's Department, Highway Department, General Sessions. I mean, he's doing everybody as long as he doesn't have a conflict. So I don't know that just losing us would be that big of a blow to his workload or his financial load. So I think that's the sort of question we have to try to get ironed out through the mayor's office or through the finance department, Aaron, and what does it cost? So maybe the starting point tonight would be, you brought it up, let's explore it and see what we need to do.
Would an attorney that represented us be able to file a lawsuit?
Kyle Baisley did.
Versus, but he came through Bob Bowman though.
Oh, no, he's got nothing to do with Bob Bowman.
I thought he referred him to us.
No.
What?
I had to sign the letter of engagement.
But did he not refer him to us, or we came up with him on our own?
Bob did, because
Bob gave us a list of 6 people. And so he was just one of the ones that just.
Kramer Racing's got one of the premier employee lawsuit litigation departments, maybe in the southeast. That's why they travel from everywhere. So a lot of times when it comes, especially local governments, there's gonna be some conflict. And my only concern, I understand the frustration Commissioner Randolph's got too, is how do we balance it? In 10 years, we've had, with Little City and then with the Niles lawsuit, in 10 years, we've had it twice. We've had to go outside for counsel. So, I understand the frustration.
Well, I think there is some frustrations, and, my initial thoughts, would we take 30 days and maybe have conversations with Bob talk about our frustrations and our concerns and see if we can, come to a better understanding.
It's not really with me, it's not a frustration with Bob. I don't have any ill will. I don't think Bob's done anything bad. I just think that there's issues that he's unable to touch because of prior conflict.
Further discussion?
I think at this point, we need to do a little background research and see what we're paying, what it's costing us. We know, Bob did an outstanding job on the cook lawsuit. I think that went up costing over $80,000, even with Bob. I know we've got probably well over $80,000 already in the Little City lawsuit. That's with Kyle. Bob couldn't take it because they do, I think Kramer Racing does business with LCUB also and some things like that. So let's do some work over the next 30 days and let's find out what would be involved, what kind of costs we're looking at. I mean, county's a big county now. We've got a lot of stuff. I'm all with you on exploring the ideal, absolutely.
You know, and I met with Bob in the morning, he's gonna be here at 8:30.
Should've been there tonight, shouldn't he? Been a good time.
Why?
Hear about Davis Lane and Buttermilk.
We hadn't met with it all morning. Him and Bill, is that our Bill was at?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And we'll talk about it again in the morning as well.
Good.
So do you all want me to table this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd call it a table. We'll just
explore.
Yeah, we're gonna
Right.
explore it. Chase will.
But I won't put it on April 1st.
No, it won't be on that. Inspector Randolph will be on this between now and the next workshop to give us a lot more information to work with.
Okay.
I think he should be named Randolph. I think that sounds so classy.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad you're not my dad.
You better be real glad I'm not your dad.
Did the pastor leave?
Yeah, he's gone now.
He'll pray for you. Okay. B.
All right, item B, to approval of ARPA funds, 10,000 from myself, 10,000 from Commissioner Jeeves. This will be donated to the Dunbar, and this will provide HVAC for them. And if you haven't been down there, the work they've done the past year, 18 months, is pretty awesome. This will pretty much get them over the hump. They'll get the HVAC in, and it'll be a very functioning asset to Loudon, I believe, when it's done. So let's add that to the agenda.
It's on there, Aaron, under your section.
Yes. I'll
Okay.
work on that.
All right.
Thank you, Aaron.
C.
All right, so a couple months back, 3-4, we had a gentleman come in to speak on the website. We formed a committee. The committee came to, I think it was a 3-1 vote to use this company. That gentleman came in, gave a presentation to update this website, the information desert. Like more? So I heard the mayor speak on election night on the radio, and he mentioned, this is one of the things that's really lacking right now in Loudon County. So I just wanted an update. Where are we? What are we gonna do?
The last conversation I remember having, and Matt Kleinschmidt was involved, I had talked to Rodney Grugan. He was actually there the night we were having the conversation. They use a company called Slam Dot. $2,500 front end, $100 a month after that. Then you have the city of Loudon, that in my opinion, has the best website of any local, any government. It's the easiest user website I've ever seen. I don't know who does theirs. I don't know if Steve Fritz does it. I don't know if they have some other company doing it. Livermore City has just now turned on their new website. They switched over to Slam Dot. I was at the meeting tonight when they got their quote, voted on their quote for $100 a month, $2,500 front end. So it was my impression we were seeking probably a less expensive option than what had been presented thus far.
So Slam Dot's $2,500 upfront and $100 a month?
Mm-hmm. And that includes so much stuff per month.
And what do you get for $100 a month?
Exactly.
Well, here's the problem you're running into.
Look at Livermore City's website. Pull up the Chamber's website.
Chamber's a good website.
Chamber's
Here's the
website,
problem
real
you're
good.
running into is who's gonna collect all the data? And you have
Nobody
so,
for $100 a month.
well, you have so many different independent offices, like Steve Harrelson, or up here, or over there, over there, over there. They do what they want to. They're not required to pass.
I mean, I
information over
agree.
to
I mean,
anybody.
the website's only gonna be as good as the people that give the information to whoever's administrating. That's, I mean, what do you do, shame them into it?
Well, that's one of the reasons I
Shame your
put Tammy
departments?
on the committee was, she gets ready, she gets her packet together, and she probably emails and puts some stuff together as anybody, she scans it, sends it, she's done with it, it then goes on the website. Before we start even attempting to go to another vendor, you put it under my name, I'll put a vote till we take the committee's recommendation, vote it up or down. Yes or no, but we can't just start jumping vendors when we got a recommendation from the committee.
For how long?
Who did not put in an RFQ for our
Forever?
service.
What's the point of forming a committee and then having a 3-1 vote and then it just disappear?
I don't think legally it can. It can't, you cannot jump, and if you go with anything less than what the cheapest total package is, you have to be able to explain that. In
Well, I
case
say we
there's
put
a
it,
lawsuit
I say we
comes
put
up.
it on the,
So you're saying-
April 1st meeting to vote
We need to vote up or down before we can move
on
forward.
that company.
I think protect Loudon County, I think we should.
What was the quote on this last company that was 3-1?
40,000?
Well, then what happened to
What
Slam
about
Dunk,
the
$2,500 a month, $100?
It's never gone anywhere.
They never put in for it.
I wanna hear what Slam Dunk has to say.
But we can't solicit, then we can't go out and solicit, they did not put in for it.
I think you have to vote up or down to what the committee.
Before we do anything
If you
else, we
vote it
need
down,
to
then you
vote
can
yes or
move
vote it down.
Put it on April, let's vote her and move forward.
So we can't, we couldn't reconsider,
What's that?
one of the original people that came and made a presentation to do the service, has made a offer of reduction of price.
No, I think you have to.
It's
vote
a
up or down.
slippery slope, it opens us up to some
I was
litigation.
just asking, I'm not,
It would open us up to litigation, taking anything less than what the committee recommended.
But if you just vote down or vote up, vote down, whatever you decide.
like I said, I just,
April 1st, perfect.
April first,
okay, is this yours, or is it Kleinsteifer, or whose ball is it to carry to bring to commission?
Put it under my name. I can have Matt send resend everything out, if y'all want me to do that as well.
I've already know what I'm gonna vote for, so I don't need any of that again.
Me neither.
okay.
Anybody wants to reach out to me or Klein Smith,
So put it
So we're
on,
voting on something we don't even know what we're gonna vote
That's why
on.
you need to get the packet out.
We don't have anything tonight to see, right? I mean,
Can
It's the same, if it's the same outfit that, what was the name of it?
Marketing.
Smart.
Marketing.
Right off the bat, that's kind
Can you
of
have Matt
scary.
email that out to everybody?
Yeah, everybody needs that before it's vote to spend
I've
$40,000.
still got my booklet.
I've got mine.
Okay, we'll have Matt send it out.
I don't think it was 40 either.
No, it wasn't 40. Where's that coming from?
That's made up.
From them.
How much
So
was
it's
it?
so much on the front end, so much a month, over 3 years.
And how much is it each month?
It's 18 total for, if you, I'm not gonna get into all the details right now because you guys have had that in front of you. I spoke to it multiple times. The person we picked was, the two that were picked for the final vote were the same price. They split it up differently. Some had more on the front end and some had more monthly. It was, but 18,000 is what it was.
Annually?
Annually.
No, that annual, that construction.
That was for everything altogether.
It was going, for the 3-year contract, it was over $40,000.
No, it wasn't. I don't know where you got that.
Well,
You just said
18,000
18
annually.
18 to start for the first year because that includes building it.
Then how much is it each month?
I don't have that in front of me. You
We'll
guys
find out, we'll find out.
Okay,
I'll get it sent out tomorrow.
send the packet out, make sure Tammy gets one, we'll include it with the April first commission meeting.
Just, excuse me, Chairman, one more comment before you finalize that. There's no need of spending money if we don't put in some kind of mechanism to make it work. Like we said here, have already identified the problem
I'm with you 100%, Coach.
is getting the, people to submit it. That's not gonna happen. The only way you get that is, all right, John Doe, you're in charge of this, so you've got to call weekly, bi-weekly, daily, and you get the information from them and you put it on the website. Cause if you're waiting for the elected officials Some of them might, some of them may not, but somebody's gonna have to be in charge of going and getting it and putting it on the website. The honor system of, oh, we'll send it in, doesn't work. We already know that.
Most departments already have their own.
I know.
Sheriff's Department, Chip Miller's, Mike Campbell, Lisa Niles. I would say 2/3, if not 3/4, all have their own.
Are they current?
Yes.
If they are, I think
I
this,
think ours
the
do.
website, then you could be able to link from the county's website.
That's what
They
happens.
are.
That's what happens
to any of
currently.
those.
That's what happens now. All of the existing websites from the independent departments are linked to the county
The
website.
one we've got now, good luck on anybody that tries to do that, but go ahead, yeah. Put it, so we're gonna have it on next month's agenda, Henry?
April 1st.
Okay. April Fool.
Can you believe we have to meet on April Fool Day? That just plays into so many things.
All right, so we'll be there April 1st. Last item,
All right, item D, approval of ARPA funds. Chip has already spoke on this. This meeting's already too long, so that's what that is. It's gonna be $1,500 from Commissioner James and myself to be able to stay on the radio, natural disaster, so forth and so on.
Now, do they qualify as a 501c?
Chip said yes.
Well, they'll have to provide all the required documents to Aaron before anything happens.
Chip, get with Aaron.
okay,
There she is.
okay, and I know that's,
Thank you, Aaron.
Can you leave that with Aaron before you leave?
I can. I don't know if I have the 501c3 stuff, and our most recent charter, I forget what the term for it is, were we paid?
But you have the 501c3
Yes,
with your
we do.
EIN number?
Yes.
Okay, 'cause Aaron has to have all of it.
Okay, I'll get that to her this week.
And if you don't, Chip, you just don't get
So
the
they're
money.
nonprofit?
Okay, no problem.
All right.
and if I remember
Y'all are
right, that's on
nonprofit?
Aaron's
Yeah.
budget amendments in just a little bit.
What's your official name?
That would be Corporation for Radio Education.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
LLC, DCC, LMN.
WLNT.
I didn't know that.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
Okay, next up, my name, and the only thing I'm gonna tell you about is before next April 1st commission meeting, ahead of just before we start, we're gonna do some commendations, proclamations to some priority EMS people, Tellico Village firefighters, for a save that was done on the tennis courts in Tellico Village. Really a truly a big save. So I'll do that ahead of the meeting before we start. Van Shaver,
Yes.
D,
Thank
B.
you, Mr. Cullen. Yeah, we won't do A anymore. B is a discussion, and I brought this up a dozen times over the last couple of years. We're still sending some of our stuff to Lenore City instead of our planning commission. Instead of our planner, actually, not commission. And Jim, it's plats, it's final plats, it's,
Site plans,
say it again,
site plans,
site plans,
Rezones?
rezones, amendments to the zoning resolution.
and it makes no sense since they have no authority over it why we do that. The only reason we do it right now is because Attorney Bowman has said we need to do that. I've been in meetings several times with Mr. Bowman and said, please show me why. And have you seen the why yet? I haven't seen the document that says why we do that. But I would love to give, Jim says he will do whatever this body directs him to do. I would like to see us direct the planning commissions to stop sending anything to Lenore City, or Loudon for that matter. Loudon used to didn't even do it, right, Jim?
That is correct.
They didn't want to do it, and I'm not gonna speak out of turn, but I can tell you there are some at Lenore City, they don't want to do it because they have no, they just have to look at it, but then we don't know what they do. We don't know what's been done. The whole idea was this open communication back and forth, and there's not any.
Didn't we stop sending to the city of Loudon for a period of time?
We did.
Manager, our ex-manager, Ross,
Yes,
said
sir.
that it was unnecessary.
Yes, sir. His thought was MTS, according to him, MTS had stated that it was not necessary, but I started it back up after speaking to Mr. Bowman.
Are you aware of TCA number, Jim?
No, sir.
I'll ask Bob about it again in the morning.
Oh, he can rattle it off, I've heard him. but it don't say what you think it says. I mean, it just really makes no sense why we're sending them anything. It has to be under our rules and regulations, right, Jim?
It is, yes, sir.
Are they gonna jump up and down and scream they really want
I
to see
can't
it?
imagine why they'd care. I bet Beth
I
Collins
don't
and
understand.
Travis Gray would be tickled to death not to have to do it.
Exactly.
So, plan that for April. We'll see what evolves between now and then. If Jim finds out anything, Bob finds out anything, we'll see what goes, but I just don't understand the reason.
How about somebody give them a call and say, we're planning on stopping doing this, do you have a problem?
Do you care?
Do you care? And if they don't care, then
Do it.
you know.
I'll see Mayor Akins tomorrow, me and Commissioner Whitfield will.
Okay.
11:30.
Be on April 1st.
Beth Collins would be a good one to ask about too. She's their planner.
And Davis Lane's gonna go back on for April 1st.
Yes, go ahead and put Davis Lane on. Let's put Davis Lane / Buttermilk Road.
Okay.
Cause it's kinda, I should've had it all on there to begin with, so we'll see what evolves between now and then with the sheriff's department, with the highway department, and with the county attorney as to what happens between now and then if we need to take any action.
Okay, we'll put A and B on there.
That's all mine, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Commissioner Waller, tell us about construction bonds.
We're actually gonna change that to irrevocable letters of credit. After talking to Knox County, the city of Knoxville, Farragut, some other jurisdictions, they all have or require bonds or letters of credit or one of the instrument, I forget what it's called, for contractors, and we don't. You know, we have this issue with John Cook, which I have a few pictures of the Grove of Cedar Hills, and you know what I'm dealing with. That's just a hillside that's just full of mud. They just put rock trying to stop it. There's the hillside sliding down there.
This is up to Grove.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There's matting they put in last fall that just never grew. There's another section that's just mud that they haven't fixed. There's another section of mud that they haven't fixed.
Jim, flip that, this roll lights on.
There's more matting that hasn't taken hold. And those are people's backyards. That's what John Cook's leaving.
This is inside the subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not even the issue I was holding them up for. All that to say, a lot of municipalities and counties require a financial instrument that lets the county, you know, have a way to go after these contractors if they walk off. And I know we used to have bonds and letters of credit for roads, and the county got left high and dry with some, and we got rid of them. But I think if we have irrevocable letters of credit, that's money sitting in a bank account that can't, you know, just walk away or expire. I know that erosion control is one, completing of surfaces such as sidewalks and roads, the maintenance of streets, pedestrian facilities, and stormwater systems for 2 years after the final plat is signed, completion and maintenance of required landscaping, right-of-way restoration, and utilities. So I mean, there's a lot of different instruments or different areas that we can require these letters of credit. So I want to explore that. Jim and I talked a little bit about it. It's going to try to figure out that this is the first little discussion on it. So
I was gonna ask, have you explored through Farragut, Knox County, and them now that they're putting on these folks?
well, for instance, Knox County has a whole department dedicated to this. They have engineers that calculate all the costs in-house. Jim, want to tell them how we discussed it being held
In the
here?
past, when subdivisions were brought in and plats and there was bonds allowed to be put in place, if I'm not mistaken, they had to submit 3 bids, and that was averaging the 3 bids that planning commission voted on for the bond amount. So in our department, this may be something very similar. You can't just leave it to one firm, and I know Lenore City, when it comes to erosion and sediment, he has a updated information on length of silt fencing required, acreage for matting and seed cover and stuff that he uses to establish that amount of money also.
So go ahead.
How does this work exactly? They give you a deposit when they start a
Well,
development?
it's a letter of credit that's tied to
Okay.
a bank. So if they
Okay.
came in and said, you know, our final top coat's gonna cost $500,000, there's a letter of credit tied to that.
Okay.
And if they walk away, Jim calls the bank, says $500,000,
Okay.
we fish it.
Alright.
And the reason why we're saying letter of credit is because we just call it in. With a bond, the contractor has to go, well, yeah, I didn't really do that, so yeah, but the contractor disagrees, you're kind of at a stalemate, you know?
And they don't expire, is that correct?
An irrevocable letter of credit has a time frame on it, but it can be extended or it can be indefinite too.
The planning commission used to do bonds, and this was, I don't wanna pick on nobody, but the previous planner just let them all expire, except one. And it was a big deal, cause we had people in the 08 time just left off and left subdivisions half done. Nobody had their top coats on, so everybody generally wants to pave all the roads. It turned into a whole thing. But we had one bond left, and it was on a subdivision up in Adams District. I went with Chip, and we went to OR&L to get the bond, to get the top coat of asphalt put on. The bank says, we can't give that to you. And Chip said, I'm the trustee, I'm here to get it. They called the contractor, and he said, absolutely don't give it to them. So we couldn't get it anyhow. So a bond isn't worth the time it takes to put it all together. Whatever it is he's come up with, the non-expiring ability to capture it is a big deal.
Well, you said they can be expanded, they do expire, there's a time frame.
It depends on how it's, everyone, the town of Farragut uses Mr. Held, who's at Bob Owens' firm. So I can email everybody a copy of that letter, but it's all about, I mean, here's the letter right here, so it's just.
The time frame's agreed to on the front end.
Yes, correct, Correct.
Well, we're gonna have some messes left over here when a couple or three of these developers get done. Fortunately, most of them's in the city, it'll be their problem. But the problem in the city is it's running out on county land. That's my issue out on 321. Everything they've messed up out there somehow winds up in the 5th district's people's yards. So that's what gets me there, but this at least would give us some kind of something on the county stuff.
Okay.
So we're just starting that process.
Well, I tell you, just a personal comment, not about that, but after listening to the folks and seeing the video tonight, it really bothers me about what's going on at Davis Road and out there.
I would love to get everybody in the van, our new van that we have, and drive everybody out
I
Davis
thought
Road.
I'd like to go, but I'm about afraid.
That is like holding the whole community hostage.
That's terrible.
From Knox County.
Yeah.
From Knox County, that's what's my problem.
I hope that we can help those folks out.
Adam, what do you want me to do? April 1st?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Just point of information.
Yeah,
Future
point of
action.
information. Aaron, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These are the recommendations from Budget Committee. There was a consideration of requests for funding for sidewalks at the courthouse that will be reimbursed by Loudon City. The mayor is gonna have the attorney draw up some paperwork to make sure that they reimburse us the amount. It'll be about $11,000. There is a consideration of a request to adjust wages for the judges. Their COLA has been increased according to the administrative office of the courts, and that goes back and is effective July 1st of this year. It's about $4,000 of an increase.
Stop, that, just 1 second.
On that one.
The state, not the state,
The administrative office.
the administrative office judge sets the salary on the judges. And it's significant, $160,000, $70,000 a piece or something like that. But somehow last year in the budget process, they just kind of messed up, got it wrong. So now they've corrected it, so we gotta go back and pay them from July 1st or what that one is, so. That's a little footnote on that.
I think there was some of the judges that went, I don't, you know
Yeah.
what you said sounds great. That sounds great.
Either way, we gotta pay it, right?
That's right, we have to
Write
pay
the
it, so
check.
it'll be on there. There is a consideration of recommendation for a grant acceptance for FY 23 Homeland Security. Sounds like that's wrong, but that's actually correct, cause they're kind of behind. For $19,000, which is no matching funds. There's a grant application and acceptance of FY 25 Governor's Highway Safety, which is now referred to as Tennessee Highway Safety, with no matching funds. As far as the amendments and the line adjustments, the major things, in wages in the sheriff and the jail, there's $100,000 moving from one of the wage lines into overtime. It's kind of a shift, but anytime wages are done, it has to go all the way through county commission. So there's that. We are establishing a new fund, which is going to include the opioid funds from all of the settlements that have happened. So that money will transfer out of the county general fund and into the new fund. That'll be a major thing. In ARPA funds, we have an additional $54,000 that has been put back into the fund for interest received. So that makes the amount that has been unassigned $491,248 that needs to be spent.
Aaron, is the interest that we get, is it come under the same requirements of having to be spent,
Yes,
just like everything else?
Yes.
Okay.
yes. Also, $2,200 will go back to Commissioner Randolph and Commissioner Jeans.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Why don't they spend it on them?
But evidently, when they appropriated to pave roads, that's how much was left over in the project, so it'll go back into your funds. There is approximately
He's thinking right now, what kind of?
There's $525 that will go back to Commissioner Shaver and Commissioner Morrison for the Beauty for Ashes project. It came in a little bit less. Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Any further comments?
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask everybody, Tammy included it in your packet online, to read through Article 5, study Article 5. It's good stuff,
Okay.
something that's needed to be done for years and years and years.
You're talking about
So,
The
on
changes.
zoning stuff, yes, it's on her packet, and I'll bet you if anybody's like me, if you want a hard copy, if you can't print it off, I'll bet Tammy can get you a hard copy, or mayor's office can get you a hard copy, but
You don't kill trees, you could just use your iPad.
let me see, how many iPads we got going tonight?
I got mine.
Yeah, they're not doing nothing.
I just
They're
turned
not
mine
doing
on.
nothing with it.
I just turned it down.
Okay, that's all, just be reading through it like that, we got many, many weeks here to talk about this, but we wanna get it good, we wanna get it right. Okay.
If nothing else, I'll consider the meeting adjourned.
Adjourn. That wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
2 hours.
It's just 5 to 7. It's all right.
I thought Van had already have everything reset by now.
I meant to do the planning the other night and I forgot to.
Hey, Chase,
Randolph.
Inspector, believe it.
I see.
Rosemary.
Usually notices.